After 3 years of nursing my dad through dementia, my sister showed up a week before he passed, with a notary. He wasn't speaking full sentences anymore. But somehow, a new will got signed. She got the house. I got a letter that said, "Thank you for your service." When I challenged it, she laughed and said, "Caretakers don't get paid in equity." That's just reality. 3 years of my life, gone. 3 years of washing my dad's soiled sheets at 2 a.m. 3 years of spoon-feeding him applesauce, wiping drool off his chin, chasing him down the street when he forgot where he was. He used to be the strongest man I knew. A mechanic for 30 years. Worked 6 days a week and still found time to take us to the lake on Sundays. Then dementia took him. Slow at first. He forgot what day it was. Got confused with the TV remote. Called me by my cousin's name. Then it sped up. One day he poured coffee into the cat's litter box and didn't understand what he'd done. After that, I moved in full-time. I quit my job in Boise. I left everything behind. My apartment, my boyfriend, my life. Just packed up and came back to Florence, South Carolina, because there was no one else. My sister Celia? She was still in Atlanta, living her best life. New car. Corporate job. Instagram full of smiling brunch pics and vacation selfies. She didn't visit. Not once. I'd call her, begging for help. "Dad's not doing well. He doesn't even recognize me anymore." She'd say, "I wish I could come, but I've got meetings." Meetings. Always meetings. For 3 years, I handled it alone. Doctor visits. Hospice talks. Legal forms. Med schedules. Diapers. I was there when he forgot how to walk. I was there when he cried because he thought he'd killed Mom, even though she died 10 years ago from cancer. I was there when he started hallucinating and thought the TV anchor was talking to him personally. And I was there the night he finally passed, holding his hand as he gasped through his final breath. Then, Celia showed up. She knocked on the door a week before he died. Just like that. No warning. She had her hair curled, nails done, a caramel macchiato in one hand, and some oversized designer purse in the other. "Hey sis," she said, like she hadn't been a ghost for 3 years. "How's Dad?" I stood there in silence. She brushed past me and walked in like she still lived there. "I figured it was time I saw him," she said. I cleared my calendar. That night she sat next to him in the recliner. He looked right through her. She kept stroking his hand like it meant something. He didn't even blink. I asked why she was here now, of all times. She said she just had a feeling. A couple days later, I noticed she was spending time with him alone. Closing the door to his room when I was out back feeding the cats. Once, I came in and she was helping him scribble something on paper. His hand was shaking so bad, it looked like a toddler's drawing. She said, "Just practicing motor skills." I didn't question it then. I should have. Then one afternoon, I came back from the store, and she was walking a man out the front door. He looked like a notary, had a little black bag and everything. I asked who he was. She said, "Just a friend. Needed something notarized for work." 3 days after that, Dad died. It was peaceful. I was with him. He hadn't said a full sentence in weeks. Just mumbles. Garbled nonsense. But I stayed with him every minute. Held his hand. Told him he could rest now. Celia helped with the funeral. I thought maybe, she felt guilty. She didn't. 2 weeks later, I got a call from the lawyer. The will had been updated. Everything had been left to Celia. The house. The savings. The old truck Dad restored. Even the furniture. Every damn thing. There was a letter attached for me. Typed, not handwritten. It just said, "Thank you for your service." I was frozen. That's it? 3 years of my life. My career on pause. Friends gone. Sleepless nights. Cleaning urine off the couch cushions and watching the strongest man I knew waste away. For that, I got a printed letter and a pat on the back. I called the lawyer. He confirmed it. Will dated 5 days before Dad died. Signed. Notarized. Witnessed by Celia. He said it was legal. I said, my father couldn't even say the word water clearly. You think he understood a whole legal document? He said, I'm sorry. But the paperwork checks out. I called Celia. She answered with a chuckle. Oh, I was wondering when you'd call, she said. You tricked him, I said. He wasn't capable of signing that. You know it. She didn't deny it. She just laughed. Caretakers don't get paid in equity, she said. That's just reality. I hung up. I didn't sleep that night. The next night either. Or the next. Because now it wasn't grief I was feeling. It was something else. I spent the next 2 weeks in a fog. The house I grew up in, the one I'd given up everything to keep in the family, was no longer mine. It belonged to Celia now. At least, on paper. She didn't move in right away. She said she was handling some things in Atlanta. But I knew she'd be back. She'd come to claim what she thought was hers. In the meantime, I stayed. Packed my things slowly. Took my time. I had nowhere else to go. And to be honest, I didn't want to leave. This house felt more like mine than hers. I was the one who kept it standing. She hadn't been here in years. She didn't even know where the breaker box was. Then one morning, I got a knock at the door. A man in khakis handed me an envelope. Inside was a formal notice: Celia was evicting me. I had 30 days to vacate. 30 days. She didn't even call. Just sent some paralegal flunky to do her dirty work. I called her. Straight to voicemail. Texted her. No reply. I wanted to scream. I wanted to smash something. Instead, I sat on the edge of my childhood bed and thought. She wanted a legal war? Fine. I didn't have a lot of money, but I had time. And I had proof. See, what Celia didn't know was that I'd been keeping a journal since Dad's diagnosis. Every doctor visit. Every symptom. Every decline in his mental state. Every time he thought I was his brother instead of his son. Every night he woke up crying for Mom. I wrote it all down. I also had video. Dozens of clips of Dad struggling to form words. Me guiding him through simple sentences. Him asking me where he was. Him calling me sir because he couldn't remember I was his son. And most importantly, I had a clip from 4 days before he died. He was slumped in his chair, trying to eat Jell-O. I asked him if he knew what day it was. He said, 20. Chicken, book? Then he laughed and said, I like pancakes. That clip was time-stamped. 1 day after the date on the new will. I started making calls. Found an elder abuse attorney in Charleston who agreed to take my case. She wasn't cheap, but when I showed her the videos and journal, her tone changed. We might have something here, she said. If we can prove he wasn't of sound mind, this will could be voided. We filed a petition with the probate court. Celia didn't even show up to the first hearing. Just sent her lawyer, some smug guy in a $2,000 suit who called me emotional and said, there's no evidence of coercion. The judge didn't throw it out. He scheduled a formal hearing. Celia would have to appear and testify under oath. When she finally showed up, she walked into the courthouse like she was still on her way to brunch. Designer dress. High heels. A fake smile. She hugged me in front of the judge like we were best friends. Then she got on the stand and lied. Dad was completely aware, she said. We had a beautiful talk before he signed the will. He told me he wanted me to have the house because I had the better means to maintain it. Her lawyer handed over the signed will and the notary's statement. They looked clean. Then it was my turn. My lawyer played the video of Dad trying to answer a basic question. The judge leaned in. I watched his eyebrows rise. Then we played the clip of Dad mumbling gibberish 2 days before the will was supposedly signed. Then came the journal. I read an entry aloud. Dad wet himself today and cried for 15 minutes because he thought he was being punished for something. When I asked what he meant, he said, "I broke the car window. Tell Mom I'm sorry. Mom's been dead for 10 years. The courtroom was silent. Celia shifted in her seat. Then my lawyer dropped the hammer. She pulled out phone records showing Celia had called a mobile notary service the morning I was at Dad's doctor's appointment. It lined up exactly with the date and time on the will. "Isn't it true you arranged this without informing your sibling?" my lawyer asked. Celia tried to recover. "I didn't think I needed permission." "Not permission. Transparency. Especially when you hadn't been here in 3 years." Celia's face went cold. That fake smile vanished. We ended that day without a ruling. The judge said he needed to review everything. We'd reconvene in 2 weeks. But something changed in Celia after that. She started showing up at the house again. Unannounced. Just to grab a few things. I caught her in Dad's office once, going through his desk drawers. "You don't live here," I said. "I will soon," she replied. Then she leaned in and whispered, "You think this court nonsense will stop me? You'll be gone soon. And when you are, I'm getting this dump and turning it into a VRBO." That's when I realized she didn't care about the house. She cared about money. She saw a rental property. Something she could flip. Something to post about on social media with captions like "honoring Dad's legacy with this stunning remodel." It wasn't just betrayal anymore. It was war. After that hearing, things got even uglier. 2 nights later, someone slashed the tires on my car. All 4 of them. I was parked in the driveway. No note. No footprints. I filed a police report, but I knew it wouldn't go anywhere. Florence cops have better things to do than investigate family drama. I knew who did it. Or who sent someone. Celia didn't want to wait for the court to rule. She wanted me out now. I stopped sleeping. Every sound outside the house made me jump. I started locking the bedroom door at night. I was a grown man sleeping with a baseball bat beside the bed. My home had become a battlefield. Then the real twist hit. I got a call from a woman named Valerie. Said she used to work for Dad, back when he ran his own auto shop. She saw the news about the probate case in the local paper. We met up at a diner outside town. She was in her 60s, wore jeans and a flannel, smelled like motor oil. "I worked for your daddy for 17 years, she said. "He used to say, 'Val, when I go, I want everything split fair. I raised 2 kids. They'll split it.'" I told her about the will. "The new one." She looked disgusted. Then she pulled a folded envelope from her purse. "He had me witness something a few years back. I never thought I'd need it." Inside was a copy of an older letter. Dated 4 years ago. Typed. Signed. Witnessed, by Valerie and a friend of hers who'd since passed. It wasn't a legal will, but it was something. In it, Dad laid out his wishes clearly. I was to inherit the house, and Celia was to get the beach condo and a chunk of savings. It wasn't a will, but it showed intent. We gave it to my lawyer. She lit up. "This could shift everything," she said. "If we can show a pattern of intent, and prove the new will was made under duress or diminished capacity, we've got a case." Then things exploded. I came home one afternoon to find the locks changed. I still had 20 days left on the eviction notice, but the locks were changed. My stuff? Still inside. Celia was standing in the driveway, arms crossed. "I had a locksmith come by," she said. "It's my house now." "You're squatting." "I called the cops. They made her open the door but said it was a civil matter and I'd have to resolve it in court. I slept in the garage that night, on a pile of old couch cushions, because I didn't trust her not to come back. The next day, I found Dad's photo albums in the trash bin. She'd thrown out decades of family photos. Some were ripped. I pulled them out with shaking hands, cleaned them off in the sink. That night I started scanning every photo, every document I could find. And that's when I found it. Tucked behind an old drawer in Dad's desk was a USB stick. I didn't think much of it until I opened it on my laptop. It had one file, a video. Dated 18 months before Dad died. He was sitting at the kitchen table, looking tired but aware. The video quality was grainy, looked like it was recorded on a cheap webcam. But the sound was clear. "If you're watching this," he said, "I guess things got messy. I know I'm losing pieces of myself. But I want to be clear now, while I still can. I want the house to go to Nathan. He's the one here. He's the one helping me." He paused. Took a deep breath. "I love Celia, but she's not part of this. She made her choice. I want her to have the beach condo. That's it." He looked right into the camera. "Don't let anyone change this." My hand shook. This was it. The nail in her coffin. We submitted the video to the court. My lawyer asked for an emergency injunction to stop any transfer or sale of the house until the judge could rule. And just like that, the tone shifted. Celia stopped smirking in the hallway. She started showing up to court looking less polished. No more heels. No more latte in hand. Just a hard look in her eyes, like she finally understood she might actually lose. 1 week before the final hearing, I got another surprise. An anonymous letter in the mail. No return address. Inside was a receipt. From a mobile notary service. Paid in cash. Requested by Celia. With one note scribbled in the margin, he could barely hold the pen. The walls were closing in. And I wasn't done yet. The final court hearing was held on a Tuesday morning. It was overcast, gray, humid, typical for Florence in late spring. The kind of day where the air sticks to your skin. The courtroom was packed. Word had gotten around town. People who'd known my dad, who'd had their oil changed by him for years, were sitting in the back. Some nodded at me when I walked in. Others just watched. Celia showed up late. She looked rough. Her hair was pulled back tight. No makeup. No designer purse this time, just a manila folder clutched to her chest like a life raft. Her lawyer looked like he hadn't slept in a week. We both took the stand that day. Again. I went first. My lawyer laid it all out. The journal, the videos, the older signed letter from Valerie, the newly discovered USB video from Dad. Then she handed over the anonymous notary receipt and the phone records. She read aloud the part that said, he could barely hold the pen. I told the court about the day Celia locked me out. About finding Dad's photo albums in the trash. About everything. Then Celia's lawyer tried to make me look like a bitter, broke son trying to steal what wasn't mine. He said I was emotionally unstable. Said I was desperate. He didn't know what was coming. When Celia took the stand, her tone was different this time. No more confident little smiles. She sounded nervous. Defensive. I didn't pressure him, she said. He asked me to help. He said Nathan was too emotional, too wrapped up in grief. Then my lawyer stood up. She held up a copy of the old will, before the new one. Can you tell us why this version, which left the house to your brother, was suddenly changed 1 week before your father passed, after 3 years of no contact from you? Celia blinked. He changed his mind. My lawyer played the USB video again. Dad, looking into the camera, clear as day, saying he wanted the house to go to me. Saying not to let anyone change it. The courtroom was silent. Then came the final blow. Valerie had tracked down the notary. He refused to testify in person, but he gave a written statement, notarized. Said Celia told him her father was having a good day, and that she just needed a quick favor. He said he wasn't comfortable, but she paid cash and said it was urgent. That sealed it. The judge didn't take long. He ruled the will invalid. Said there was clear and convincing evidence that my father lacked the mental capacity to understand what he was signing. He called Celia's actions morally repugnant and a calculated effort to exploit her father's condition. He reinstated the prior will. The house and all assets went back to me. Celia didn't look at me when the ruling was read. She just stood there, staring straight ahead like she wasn't even in the room. But it wasn't over. My lawyer leaned in and whispered, "Do you want to file criminal charges?" "We can." "Elder abuse. Fraud." I stared at Celia. And I thought about it. I really did. But in the end, I said no. Not because she didn't deserve it. She did. But I wanted her to walk through life knowing she lost everything, not because I destroyed her, but because she destroyed herself. I walked out of that courtroom with the deed to my father's house in my hand. Celia walked out alone. But here's the part one never told anyone else, the whole process ruined me in a different way. After Dad died and the court battles ended, I tried to go back to work. Tried to live like everything was okay. But it wasn't. My resume had a 3-year gap. My savings were gone. I had panic attacks anytime I got a letter in the mail. I won the house. But I lost something I can't get back. And Celia? Last I heard, she moved to Florida. Tried to start over. She sold the beach condo at a loss during the market dip. Got laid off. Posted a GoFundMe last fall, asking for help paying rent. I didn't donate. She hasn't spoken to me since the hearing. I keep the letter she forged from Dad. The one that said, "Thank you for your service." It's in a frame above my desk now. Not because it was true. But because it reminds me who I am. And who I'll never be.